Today is a very special one for me as I've been invited to FIFA's Tournament Operations Center right here in Miami, the center where literally everything is managed and coordinated to put on the greatest show on earth.
This has been the HQ for this tournament. Obviously we have offices in Mexico and in Toronto for those respective venues. But in general, for the FIFA 26 project, Miami has been HQ for the last 3 years, I would say. So we already had a very significant footprint and a large number of staff based here. And so after Club World Cup, when we were still building up the team for FIFA 26 World Cup, we learned that we had everything here that we needed to have in order to have full control of the 16 cities. So as the team has been growing since Club World Cup, now more for 26, we built here basically our operations center where we have all the tools in order to basically monitor the 16 cities, but more beyond that, just the 16 cities, because we have teams scattered throughout the 3 countries. We have a very large footprint, but we have everything controlled from here. This is an operations center that's operational 24/7. Every functional area within FIFA is represented here in the TOC, what we call the TOC, the Tournament Operations Center. So there's activity all day and even in the evening. Here in this World Cup, we're dealing with time zones. We didn't have that 4 years ago. Here you have Eastern, Central, even Mountain and West, Pacific time zone. So we need to make sure that there is, people present and available all day, all hours of the day. We have sort of a plan, myself and the other chiefs, where we try to cover each one of the games on any given day. It was quite challenging in the beginning when we had 4 matches a day, or the last 4 days of the group stage where we had 6 games happening over those 4 days. So it's been quite challenging to be, but yes, we've managed to get across, to be present at as many games as possible. It's been challenging, given the footprints, 3 countries, 16 cities, and there's quite a distance between them. But overall, we've always had some presence of our senior leadership team at each one of the games.
Now tell me about this. It looks beautiful, but it also looks very, very busy.
Well, I always like to show this because this kind of gives you, in one image, you can really grasp the magnitude of this competition. This is our home in Miami, and what this map tries to show between, Canada, the United States and Mexico is where the 48 teams had picked as their home base, what we like to call them the team base camps. And they're all over the place, right? We've had teams staying in Canada, of course. We've had a lot of teams staying in Mexico and, a large number of teams staying in the United States. I would say maybe a large concentration of teams staying in the central region and the east, because the nature of this competition, as you know, is gradually it starts shifting where everything towards the end is either in the central region or the East Coast region. The teams had, a lot of time to inspect and visit and select, their preferred options. Some teams chose weather conditions. Some teams chose proximity to either one of their 3 first games. And ultimately, they all basically chose their home away from home. As you get past the group stage, teams start what we call venue hopping. So they go from city to city where they're playing, but they also have the opportunity to choose to stay in their base camp if they choose to do so. And the teams basically always move, match day -1. They will either train and then travel to the city where they'll play, but we always make it a requirement that they must arrive at least the day before, because as you know, there's always the media activities, press conferences, mixed on, and so on and so forth. And again, this kind of shows you not only the stadiums, but also has the base camps, as I said, and then within each city, we have many, what we call official sites, because there's team hotels, there's training sites, there is the volunteer centers, there's the FemFest. So if you look here, what looks kind of like a subway or a metro map of in a city with all color coding, this just kind of gives you an idea of the magnitude of how many official sites we have in each one of the 16 cities. And of course, we are responsible for the operations, we're responsible for the safety and security, and it just shows you how much we have to basically oversee in each one of the 16 cities.
Incredible. Here and across each site, do you know how many staff there are that are supporting this operation? Because it's amazing.
There's a lot. I mean, We started building each city basically a year out. So the opportunity we had with Club World Cup last year, for at least those 6 cities that have repeated now the World Cup, we built that city earlier. We already staffed, with people, but it's been an ongoing. And a lot of the people that we brought on board, the majority of them have also been what we call tournament time, which is basically 6 weeks out, and then leading into the tournament. But at least the core operational team in each of the 16 cities was built a year in advance, and then gradually from below them. But there's people, and I'm sure you've seen it traveling to the 16 cities. There's people everywhere. But another big component is the volunteers. The volunteers, 50,000 volunteers, all scattered throughout the 16 cities, has been phenomenal. The support and the enthusiasm that we get from the volunteers.
I remember watching the World Cup draw in December, and you kept flashing up on the screen, and then the next day, you and your team, sleepless night. I remember hearing you speak.
Yes.
Sleepless night, because you had to put this all together. The teams were drawn. How much pressure is there on that particular moment? All the work's gone in, now time to execute.
Yeah, because there was so much going on behind the scenes, and once you finally can do a schedule with the actual teams and you know where they're playing, and you have to make decisions of which game goes in this city versus that city, and then you have to do the kickoff times, which was also big learning after Club World Cup. We needed to be much more sensitive to the weather impact. So there were some decisions taken which have shown, the positive results that, we've been playing in some cities, staying away from the peak temperatures of that we knew historically and then you have to predict or hope to, be able to make decisions also when you're facing heat waves, as we did already in this tournament and we had also last summer. But the heat obviously is a factor for fans, for teams, for us, the staff working and the volunteers. So we've had to put in a lot of heat mitigation strategies also to be able to manage that. And yes, putting together the schedule after the draw, a lot of work had been done prior, but then once you finally have the 48 teams and who faces who on each day, it was just a matter of going day by day and placing the games and placing the kickoffs. And then, yes, it was a long night, but ultimately the schedule finally came out and we were able to unveil it the day after the draw. There it is.
You make it sound easy. Now it looks all
there
beautiful.
It is. It's almost completed, all the results.
No, amazing. Manolo, big thank you, because this is amazing. I'm here working and I still didn't understand all of this. To actually physically see it in function,
it helps.
in operation,
it helps.
It's magnificent. Credit to you and all the team for great work, and thank you for the tour, and wish you best for the rest of this World Cup and every World Cup to come.
Thank you. Thanks so much for the visit.
Grazie. Thank you, man.
Ciao,
Amazing.
ciao.